Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am about to go get air, but before I go outside, I'm recording this video because we're going to go through predictions for the Champions League, the actual league. It is a league now. Yeah, it's a league, a Champions League. So we're going to be making predictions. I'll talk about what I made last week, kind of look through those, and we'll do fantasy as well. We'll talk about some of the more premier matchups that I'm looking at this week and games that I think are going to be really good. Obviously, exciting times because, yeah, the Champions League is just the best in my opinion. So we'll have our odds up as well. We'll be looking and kind of seeing how the odds rank it. So last week we did okay, I suppose. Nothing crazy. The closest prediction we got was this Leverkusen, and I boosted it. I felt like they actually gave us a lot of really tricky matchups last week. I think the surprise of the week was probably the Man City Inter game. I just thought Man City this year were going to be a level head above Inter, whereas in the past I would have said 0-0. I would have felt is more likely, and I was wrong. So we didn't get that many points on the first week. We only got 30 points. So this week I am hoping we can do a little bit better. After this week, we've got quite a break. We won't be back until the 22nd, so we do have a little bit of a break, about 20 days after this. So these are the matchups they've given me this week on fantasy. We've got Stuttgart and Sparta Praha. We've got Inter versus, I can't even pronounce, and I won't try. Arsenal PSG is the best game on TV this week, just so you guys know. I'm very much looking forward to that one. Overall, the games this week are okay. There's nothing insane, but that's probably the best game, or at least it's the best it's going to get. We've got Shakhtar Atalanta, we've got Benfica Atleti, and we've got Lille and Real Madrid. So those are going to be our predictions. We're going to go through, make predictions together, talk about why. And then, yeah, it's just a very chill Champions League video. So let's take a look first. Stuttgart and Sparta Praha. Obviously, Stuttgart last week put up a little bit, you could say, of a fight. They put up a fight a little bit against Madrid. And Sparta Praha, they actually beat Salzburg 3-0. Wow. Okay, so this is looking like not the easiest one to predict, but I think it'll be close. But I do think Stuttgart will get it done at home. They seem to do pretty well attacking wise. So I don't know. I feel like it's one of those where, last week I really tried to overanalyze it, and I think I put a little too much analysis into it. So while Sparta Praha are obviously very, very solid defensively, it's still, I feel like, obviously, yes, the German league is much better than the Czech Republic. And what I learned last week was that, yeah, I felt like overall, I overrated PSV a little bit. So I'm going to go 3-1. I don't know. I want to go a little bit different here. I will say Stuttgart is the first team to score. I'm not going to boost that one. Then we've got Inter. We've got Inter here, which obviously, this one isn't going to be that hard. I think Inter obviously is going to take this one. I don't think it is going to take a rocket scientist to tell you that Inter probably should win this game, but I do want to see, just out of curiosity, do they give it to you? Do they let you know here? Let's see. Maybe they show it to you. Oh, they give it to you right here. So obviously we know what happened with Inter, but they lost to Benfica 2-1. And obviously they've been doing pretty well in the league, but Inter at home, I think that's just going to be too much. I think it's going to be too much, and I think Inter are going to score a couple tomorrow. So I'm going to say I think it's going to be 3-0. I think Inter are going to go crazy tomorrow, and that score is actually there. That one I'm feeling pretty good about. So as an early look at this, I think that's the game I'm probably most likely to boost. Inter at home. Can you go wrong with that? Is it going to be 3? Is it going to be 2? Let's go with 3. All right, now let's move to Arsenal versus PSG. Arsenal at home. Obviously, for me over the weekend, did really well to pull that game out, right? It was 2-0, goes to 2-2. They go away. They run away with it. PSG, obviously, really playing well. This is going to be PSG's greatest test of the season because PSG overall have been playing amazing this year. And this is going to be a really good test to kind of see where they are at. Now, Arsenal in the Champions League started off the first week with a draw. So when we look at this week, this should be a must-win game for them. But I am kind of under the opinion that I actually feel like this game might be a draw. I think Arsenal win this game by a goal, or I think it is going to be a draw. So there's a part of me that wants to go with 1-1. I'm thinking about doing that, although when I take a look at it, I mean, look, I feel Arsenal have one of the best defenses. But they've been having a little bit more high-scoring games as of recently. PSG seem to have pretty high-scoring games. And in the last 4 games, PSG have conceded every game. In the last 3 games for Arsenal, Arsenal have also conceded every game. So I'm going to say 1-1. I don't feel really that good about this game at all. at all. I don't feel good about this one at all. This is just a really tough game to predict. And in terms of if we take a look at PSG and kind of, I'm curious with Arsenal, like they usually are scoring first, correct? I feel like Arsenal score first in a lot of these matches. Arsenal score first there. Obviously, expect them to score second in that one. Spurs, obviously, there's only one goal. Let's go with that. Let's not overcomplicate it. I'm going to go 1-1. Then we've got Shakhtar Atalanta, which is a bit of an interesting one. Atalanta ended up drawing against Arsenal. They're not playing insane in the league this year, but they're playing all right. And then obviously, yeah, Shakhtar at home is not going to be super easy. I'm kind of feeling like maybe this is a draw or an Atalanta win. So I kind of like a 1-1, a 2-1. I'm gonna go with a 2-1. Let's try a 2-1. Let's try a 2-1. I mean, Shakhtar could pull it off. They've got a lot of history in the Champions League. But let's go with that. Let's say Atalanta are going to get it done here. I was impressed with their Champions League performance against Arsenal. Obviously, oh shoot, don't want to do that. Obviously, going on the road is going to be a lot different. And in terms of the first team to score, we will go with Atalanta. Although this one is kind of a tough game to predict. I think this one is sneaking up on me to be a little bit harder than I thought it would be in terms of how to predict it. So let's take a look here. It's probably the following, right? Let's take a look at this. So Atalanta, what do we have injury-wise? How do we look with the lineups? And head-to-head, Atalanta won the last one away, but that was obviously a long time ago. And I'm trying to see odds-wise on here. Atalanta are a favorite on the road. So you know what? We'll roll with the favorite there. I don't think that's a crazy prediction. Benfica Atleti. So Benfica in the past, if you just look back a little while ago, Benfica have been playing amazing. Atleti stole that game over the weekend. Look, let's call it how it is. Atleti is an incredibly, incredibly tough team to beat. There's no denying that. And I would say the same with Benfica, especially Benfica at home. So I am also going to say a draw for this. I'm curious to see odds-wise where that is on here. Benfica, so Atletico, so draw looks. I like a draw because I just think this game is a little hard to predict. So I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. I think the first team to score is going to be Benfica. Let's just go with that. Maybe a late Atletico. They almost get it. They almost get it, or they do get it, and it's 2-1, 1-1 either way. And then we've got Lille, and we've got Real Madrid, which obviously we expect Real Madrid to win. Lille lost 2-0 to Sporting. I thought Real got a little unlucky on the weekend. Real's games this year haven't been direct blowouts, and they've been conceding a goal in a lot of these games. But Lille in the last 5 games have had 2 games where they haven't even scored. So they are at home, so do I give them a goal? Man, that's a tough one. I'm thinking 2-1 Madrid off the top of my head. But let's take a look. And let's kind of break it down here. So we want to obviously go. This game is going to be on Wednesday too, I believe, or even Thursday. It's Thursday. This game is going to be on Wednesday. I think there's only 30 days of September. They have a lot of injuries as well. Goodness. All right, let's just go. Let's go 2-0. I think Madrid get their shutout here. Let's go that, and let's go Madrid. And I'm going to lock in Inter. So that's what we're going to do here with the predictors. We're going to lock those in. And let's take a little look here at the games that we have this week. And let's talk about the table. Let's just look at the table and kind of break this down for a second. So, after match week 1, I think there wasn't too many surprises. I think the most surprising outcome in the first week for a lot of people probably would have been Barcelona losing. That's probably the most surprising. The second most surprising to me was probably Atalanta and Arsenal drawing. I do respect Atalanta. Yeah, but for me, Arsenal losing in week 1 is not Arsenal. Oh my God, I'm cooked. Sorry, Barcelona is probably the most surprising one. So let's take a look. Obviously, the games that we have this week, I think Arsenal PSG make for the most exciting one. I expect this game to be pretty cagey. Salzburg-Brest should be a little closer. Barca's gonna bounce back this week. They will get a win. If Barcelona do not win this week, we need to start talking a little bit about what's kind of starting to go down here. Now, I know the loss over the weekend, we could just write it off and say it's a one-off, but obviously that loss with Monaco, the red card, so Barca need to have a strong game here. I want to see them continue the momentum. I do not want to watch another year of Barcelona collapsing because this season they are just too good to pull that crap. I don't want to see it. Leverkusen Milan, this is a very interesting matchup. And I want to see what the odds are saying for this. Obviously, Leverkusen at home is not easy, but Leverkusen away is just equally good. They're good all the time. So Leverkusen is obviously much more of a favorite, which is understandable. But Milan are just, I feel like Milan are starting to head up. I feel like they're starting to trend upwards. Obviously, a massive win versus Inter. That is one of those wins for them that they started the season so poorly. And you look at how they're doing now in the league, and they've really taken care of business, right? They're right back up there in contention where they need to be. Obviously, it's early days. So this one for me is going to be very interesting. I would say that I think Leverkusen at home, you would give the advantage to them. But I'm not going to be surprised if Milan come out of here with a draw, because I'm starting to feel like they've kind of turned a corner on their season. And I think they know that there's got to be some urgency here. They have to get some points in the Champions League. So I don't know. I think there's some value with maybe a draw tomorrow with them. Dortmund and Celtic, this is one of those games that Dortmund should win, but Celtic have a schedule this season that if Celtic can pull off points here tomorrow, I don't expect it on the road. Dortmund is very hard to play at. If they can, Celtic are probably going to qualify because the teams they play through the rest are not that good. Inter, you expect to win. PSV versus Sporting. Can PSV get the goals going? Can they pick it up? Sporting obviously is going to be away. I think that will be a draw. But maybe that's going to be the one matchup where, like, damn, PSV wins. Wow, because I probably would lean towards Sporting. I think City will absolutely destroy, which is good because, we're going to talk about fantasy in second. Girona, I think, will win. Shakhtar Atalanta, we talked about that one. Villa Bayern is quite an interesting one. Bayern's going on the road. I think Harry Kane is doubtful. So I don't know if he's playing. I have him in my fantasy team, which obviously it's so unlucky because of the way he played last week. He literally got me like 100 points. So they have a couple of injuries, but same situation with Villa. They've kind of just lost a bunch of players in the last week or two. Villa at home, though, a lot of exciting vibes going on here. Look, I'm not going to be super surprised if this game is maybe a draw tomorrow. I think there's some contention for this to be a draw. I'd be curious to see odds-wise what they're saying. So Bayern is still quite a favorite even on the road, but I still think that one's going to be a lot closer. Benfica, Athletic, we talked about that. Zagreb, Monaco. This is a huge opportunity for Monaco. Zagreb, obviously, look, any team that concedes 9 goals, they're going to be hungry to not do that again, right? So they're going to go out there with some fire, some passion. Zagreb at home is a really tough game. Monaco, on the other hand, they're in a scenario where they could go ahead and really make a statement because they can go on 6 points after 2 weeks, which is crazy. Because what we've said is that we think to qualify for the top, I think it's 24? It's going to have to be like 10 to 12 points. So 6 points after 2, try to get 6 points out of 8, 6 games left is very nice. Liverpool, I expect to win at home against Bologna. They will win. I think they'll win 2 or 3 goals. They're looking really solid. Leipzig, so great test for Juventus going away. Don't see Leipzig. I see Juventus getting at least a draw. I think Juventus, I'm putting some faith in them because I think they're playing too good to drop points. I think they will get themselves a draw on the road. This game, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what's going on. Let's put it how it is. So in terms of now, we're going to shift over to fantasy, to all my fantasy guys. Okay, so in terms of fantasy this week, guys, Kane is doubtful. I don't know if he's going to play. It says late October everywhere, so I may change this up at some point. But what I am thinking about doing, and I'm in a kind of a pin here with my back line because a lot of them are Arsenal PSG. What I think I'm going to do is take out Kane this week. I know he's selected, but I just don't even know if he's going to play. And I may end up going Lewandowski because I like the matchup a lot this week. I would not mind going a little heavy with Barcelona this week. And then in terms of other matchups that I do like, I think Man City are one that I really like. Like picking up a Foden this week. I've got 8.5 remaining, so I'd have to kind of scale it here now once I go with Lewandowski. But let's see what we could cook here. So Dembele, no, I don't really like that. Sané, I don't really love that this week. Pulisic, I don't really love that. Why are some of these players not? Why can't I select some of these players? Oh, I have too many players in the same position. Bernardo Silva, Grealish, not loving any of those. Xavi Simon's not really liking that one. Diaz is not a bad shout. If I wanted to get some Liverpool in there, Diaz is definitely not a bad shout. And Diaz is also in incredible form. I think the problem when we get with Man City is it gets really tough to know who's going to get you the contributions on Manchester City. Whereas, like, I think Diaz in the team could be a decent shout to know that we got some points and we'll have some leftover to work with next week, right? So let me just see here. When we go to Manchester City, I want to see the predicted lineups that they're expecting. I think Foden might be a shout, I think Foden might be a shout. I really do. I like that. I like that. I think I might go Foden. I'm feeling like Man City are going to score a lot of goals. So if we did that, oh my God, we're under. Oh my God, we're under. We can't afford it. Is there anyone other than Lewandowski though that we could get that we think is going to cook this week? Leao, Vlahovic, no. Alvarez, no. Garassi's not a bad shout. That's a weird like option with only 2% choosing him, but Garassi's not a bad shout either. This is where it gets really tricky here. Gurasi though against Celtic at home too. I'm not really super against that. Although I just think Lewandowski. I think Lewandowski is good for too many goals. So I'm gonna have to kind of think this through, but I'm probably gonna go Lewandowski and someone else. It's tough to know who we're gonna necessarily go with here. I think Lewandowski is too good to pass on with the matchup tomorrow though. So let's go Lewandowski. As much as I wanted to get, as much as I really wanted to get Foden in the team, we're going to have to go Diaz because we just don't have the money to do it. So we're going to review our transfers. I'm pretty sure Kane isn't playing. Either way, I don't love the matchup with Kane. And we're going to make Haaland our captain. Ooh, yeah, we're going to make Haaland our captain. Lewandowski is tough too. It's tough too, but I think Haaland will get going. I think he'll have a lot of goals. He hasn't had a couple goals, recently. So I think he'll get going tomorrow. We'll sub in Raya. We got to go with fantasy. You guys got to go by date here. So we want to make sure. We want to make sure that we've got all the players that are playing first tomorrow. So Yamal is going in. And, Gabriel or Saliba. That is where it gets very tricky. Gabriel, oh my God, I swear if Gabriel has a goal tomorrow, I'm going to lose it. Rico Lewis has to play. We'll just keep Saliba, and then we'll lock in like that. All right, man. That's what fantasy looks like. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys soon. Peace.